Hello everyone, this is Kenny Bruni from Tech and welcome back to the channel. So in this series of videos, you are learning Python, and this is specifically SENG 207, Programming for Engineers, a course taught at the University of Ghana. So if you have been following along, we have this particular structure we have been going through, and starting from chapter 1 to where we currently are, which is chapter 21, everything has been put together like the chapters of a book. So currently we're on chapter 21, where we are going to discuss Python libraries. So in here, I'm just going to collapse this so that we can have a much wider slate and read some few things over here. So for Python libraries, and I'm reading from line 3, Python libraries are published onto the official Python package index website, and there's a link over here. But for simplicity's sake, let me come in here into my browser. And remember, when we're downloading Python, we had this website we went to, and that was python.org. That's the official Python website. And of course, I'll leave all these links in the description of this video so you can quickly check this up. And this is where we downloaded Python. Now on this particular tab, there's what we have over here as PyPi. So I'll click on this, and this will take me to another website. So this is more or less an external link, but then you can see that link to the official Python website. And it says we can find, install and publish Python packages with the Python package index. So this is a website. So then the big question is, what is a library? Now I always want to draw inspiration from some of these terminologies because lots of them sound metaphoric in a lot of ways, in the sense that when we are in school, we have our library that we go to search for information, read books and stuff like that. And this library basically contain some knowledge or some information that we need. So basically, if we need some code to help us do certain things, we can install some libraries over here. So in all honesty and sincerity, we cannot exhaust the conversation of libraries in just a single video because there are quite a number of them. I think they are running into the millions, and as you can see on this website, you can see that there are about, over 4 million releases, and there are some projects in here. But the whole point of libraries is, let's assume we want to build a website using Python. People have written code that we can use that code in our implementation. So basically, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. And a typical example of such a library is Django. So over here, I can just come in here and search Django, and I'll click on this to search. And here we have a number of what I would say Django related libraries over here. But indeed, what we actually need is what we have over here. And when I click on this, there's some information over here, and it says there's a high level Python web framework that encourages rapid development and clean, pragmatic design. So there are quite a number of things over here. So we can go through this, know exactly what we want, and work with it. Now, Django is one of the most popular Python web frameworks for building web applications. And of course, I have videos on the using Django to build applications. And let me just scroll down, or better still, you go onto my Tech channel and go onto my playlist. And for playlist, you have, for instance, this one over here, which is a Django inventory management system. There are, I think, 22 videos over here. And there's a lot of information you can get over here. I also have other Django videos you can see over here. But we are not going to talk so much about Django today. Now let me just click on this and get back to home. Now let's say we want to build an application, and let's say we want to use QR code, but then we don't know how to write some code to generate QR code for us. We just are thinking aloud. We can just come in here and search for maybe a potential library. So let's say I can say make, or better still, generate, for instance, QR code. So I can just search this over here, press enter, and you could see that we have quite a number of them over here. But then let's see this one, because normally the ones that comes on top are like the most popular ones. So we have this QR code and the version is 7.4.2. So I'll click on this, and you could see that I have some information over here. It says QR code image generator, and it says pure Python QR code generator, and it says the standard install whatever thing you have over here. And this seems quite interesting. Okay, so now let's try installing this QR code onto our system, because this is a library, we don't have it over here. So inside of VS Code, now this is my system, and I have already installed a number of libraries on this system. But then in order to check, you can simply do, let me just come in here, you can simply do a pip list. So this pip is your Python package installer system, okay, and we are doing a pip list, so we want to list all the packages I have over here. So I'll press enter, and I have quite a number of packages installed on my global environment, and yours may be a little bit different. Probably you are most likely not going to see everything you see over here, but currently these are all the packages I have over here, and as you can see, I have quite a number of them, and some of the packages we're talking about already have them installed over here. So what I don't have is actually the QR code. You could see that the libraries and packages as I have over here have been installed, and these have been listed in an alphabetical order. So currently you can see that the only thing I have with Q is QTPy, so I don't have QR code. Now what I can do is I can come back in here and click on this. So I'm clicking on pip install QR code, so I've copied to clipboard, and I can simply come in here, come and paste it here, and press enter. And of course you need internet for this to work, so this will just download and finish in about some few seconds. So here we have QR code installed. So now if I'm to come back and, for instance, do a pip list and press enter, and let me try scrolling back to where I have Q, you could see that now I have something with QTPy, and also you could see that there's this QR code installed over here. And please check the version. The version over here is 7.4.2, and that's exactly what we installed over here. All right, so now we have QR code installed, and now let me just come down here, clear my terminal. So I'll just type in clear, and now that we have this installed, we can import this and use it as a module, and that's the reason why we dealt with modules over here. So in here, and I can come in here, to the very top, and I can say import, and I'll type QR, and you can see that I have QR code showing up over here. And using this to generate a QR code is very simple. I can simply do something like this, and I can call this, for instance, let's say image, or the QR image, whatever. Then I can do QR code, which I'm calling this module, and I'll do a dot. So there are a number of methods over here, and a popular one, or what you are definitely going to use, is a make, and I'll bring in a parenthesis over here, and in here I pass in the data that I want to, for instance, generate a QR code from. So for simplicity's sake, let me just come into this and, for instance, do a Ctrl+C of this URL link over here, which actually links to my playlist on my YouTube channel. So I've copied that, and I'll just paste it over here. So I'm only trying to say make a QR code image, and inside of this, or inside of that image, embed this data. And all that I need to do now is to do my object over here, this image dot, and there's a save method in there, and over here too I just need to pass a name, so the name of the image, and I'll say QR code dot png. So let me just open this up a little bit, and this is what is going to happen. I'm going to run this code, so I'll save this, and just about now there's nothing like QR code dot png showing up over here, okay, in this directory. But then if I run this code, and you see that here we have QR code.png now generated for us. So generating a QR code is as simple as just these 3 lines of codes. As you can see, just 3 lines of codes, and everything is generated for you. Now let me just open this up, and you can actually use your phone to scan this image, and you are definitely going to see a QR code. the data in there, which is going to be the link to my YouTube channel. So you can pause this video and do the scanning, and later on we'll work our way through. All right, so I'm just going to close this, but then there's an image that's saved in there, and as you can see, this is just a library that we have installed. So there are quite a number of them over here. There's another one I would want to show you, which is the KBT car, and this is a library I wrote myself and published in there. So I can come in here and search for KBT car this way. So I'll press enter, and here I have this KBT car, and the version I have over here is 1.2. So I'll click on this, and if you want to install KBT car, you just do a pip install KBT car, or you can simply come and copy what I have over here. Come in here and come and paste it over here. Don't know why is this. Come and paste it over here. So I have pip install KBT car. Then I'll press enter. All right, so it says the installation was done successfully. So it says successfully installed KBT car, this version. So currently, if I'm to do a pip list and press enter, you are definitely going to see as part of my packages, I'll have KBT car. And I think I need to scroll up. So here I have K, and currently you could see that I have KBT car installed over here. So now let's see what this package actually does. So I'm saying that this is a simple library that performs basic Python arithmetic operations. So this is a very simple one, and you definitely see me as the author over here, Kenneth Brony. All right, so this was the installation process, which is very simple. You can just come and copy this, and then you have this. And these are some of the reasons why we needed to learn Markdown and stuff like that, because everything you have over here as presented this way was written in Markdown. Okay, so everything you have over here was written in Markdown. This portion, and once you upload, it actually gets saved this way. So for the usage, I have over here a guide to using the add_numbers function is as follows. So first of all, you need to import this KBT car. Then you can create a variable called add_num, and this is going to be KBT car dot. Remember what I said about the dot operator? It's almost as if you want to go into it. So within this library, there are some functions in there, and part of those functions is what we have as add numbers, and we just pass in 3 and 7, and we should expect to see something printed out. The sum of these two numbers. So now let's come in here and see, and let me just comment what I have over here. So now let's try using the KBT car. So I can simply do import KBT, and obviously IntelliSense help me, and in here I can now do, for instance, create a variable, and I'm going to call this X. So X is going to be equal to this KBT car I have imported over here dot. I want to go into it, and there are quite a number of functions I have in there. So for instance, I want to use the multiply numbers function. Now when I do a parenthesis, I can pass in, let's say, 2 and 4, and here I can now print, for instance, X over here. So I'm expecting to see the product, or multiplying this by this, which is obviously going to be 8. So now when I run this, I do see something like product is 8. All right, so this is a package that I've written and uploaded onto the site. Now remember what I showed you earlier on. You can do a control and click on this, and this is going to link you up with the original source code. So currently you can see that this is the original. So this is basically some of the things we've done where we're writing addition functions and stuff like that. So I don't think the code over here will scare anyone. It's basically what we already know. So that's it, and that's why I said a module is basically some code that's written down and we can use it. So now once we have this of course is a library, but then once we import it over here, then it becomes a module we are using, and we can, for instance, say from KBT car imports multiply _numbers and figure a way around it. So that's going to be another way of working, and that's good. So now let's go back and you could see that I have the functions in this library. I have them listed out over here, and I also provide this YouTube link. So now this is the particular video where I built and deployed that particular library, and this is something good for programmers, at least for my class. Maybe later on you may want to try your hands on some of these things, build your own library, try and upload it onto the Python package index website for others to use, because by so doing you are also trying to contribute to the community. All right, so there's a video, and that's build and publish third-party Python library. And I think I uploaded it over a year ago, so I'll leave this link in the description as well if you actually want to learn how to build your own library and publish it. Good. So that's going to be this particular library. But then let me just go back to our QR code and show you something, because I don't want to act as if I'm a magician. And this is the reason why I said reading documentation is very important, because everything we have over here is about documentation. So what I just did, where I imported QR code, then created a variable, and I said QR code.make, and you see some data here, and now over here we are just saving it. This is only trying to check the type of this image, so you can just ignore this and just have this, and just 3 lines of codes. You have your QR code. Now this is for advanced usage. You can look at this, where for instance maybe you'd want to change let's say the color, because the default one prints it in black and white. You can change this to, let's say, red and blue, depending on what you want to do, and everything is going to come out correctly for you. So there are quite a number of other things you can learn from this particular page, and it all comes to you reading documentations and trying to implement them. Examples are here, you can look at it. All right, so that's going to be the other package or the library we are going to work with. So basically we have this KBTCal, which is my own library I've shown you. Then we can actually create a QR code application, and I think I did a video on that. So let me just come back here and show you that video, and I think highly recommended. You should try and watch the videos I show you. For instance, this one, create QR code with Python. So I'll leave this link as well in the description, so that you can actually see some of the things I did, which is very simple anyway. So I'd want to say we've checked this, okay, then we also check this. Then there's Folium and other libraries. Like I said, we can't cover everything over here, but then let me try and see if I have the Folium library in here. So I'll do a pip list to check if I have Folium, because sometimes if I don't need the packages, I delete them. So now let's scroll back to where we have F. So for F we have this. Okay, we don't have Folium listed out over here, so now let's install Folium. So I can do a pip install, and I'll type in the name of the library. Let me just close so that I have everything showing up this way. So pip install Folium, and I'll press enter. Oh, sorry, I'll press enter over here. Okay, so now let me now try and see pip list, because it tells me successfully installed Folium. So I'm checking pip list once again, and now let me scroll back or up to C. So inside of my packages that starts with F, currently you can see that I have Folium over here. Okay, so now what is this Folium package? It's one of the packages I find very interesting, and I think I have some videos on me working with Folium, and you can see that we can make beautiful maps with leaflets.js and Python. So this is just a package you can use to create beautiful maps and stuff like that. And let me just show you. So now that we have Folium installed, let me clear my terminal. I can simply come in here and try and install, import Folium. So I can do import Folium. Okay. And now with just, I think, about 3 lines of code, we can create a very beautiful map. So now that I've imported Folium, I can create a variable and call this, let's say, my map. And my map is going to be equal to Folium dot. And once again, whenever I use the dot, it's almost as if you want to go into it. So there are a number of variables and methods and stuff over here, but I think we are looking for Folium.map. Okay. And now whenever I do this, you could see that everything is looking good. There are a number of things we can do over here. Then now this my map object I have over here, I can do my map dot. And I think over here too, there's a save method in here. And I just need to pass a name. Now this map is actually going to save in an HTML file. Okay, so let me call this index dot, or no, better, let me just use map.html. So map.html. And before I run this, let me just show you. So now currently you can see that we don't have anything as map.html over here. So now when I run this code, we should see map.html being generated just about now. The code is still running anyway. Normally when you are running this for the first time, it takes a while. All right, so you could see that I now have map.html showing up over here. And once again, with just 3 lines of code, we've actually generated a map. So now when I click on this map.html, you can see that I have a number of things over here. And all this code, quite a number over here, was generated by just these 3 lines of code. So in order to preview this, I already have an extension called Live Server. And if you want to have that as well, you can just click on this extensions tab and you just type in Live Server this way. So this is the extension by Requit Day. All right, so you click on this, and if this is going to be your first time, you're going to see install over here, and it says, it has about 31 plus million downloads. So this is a very popular extension you see with a lot of developers. So I'll collapse this, I'll close this, collapse this, and I'll work my way through. So now inside of this map.html, I can now click on this go live, and this is going to open this up in Live Server. And this is actually going to open up in my default browser. So it says it is starting, and once it starts, you see everything showing up. So as you can see, this is my thing over here, which is map.html. You can see this in this link over here. So this is a map, but then we can actually zoom in, and the more we zoom in, the better it gets in terms of what we have with this map. And this can be an alternative to, let's say, you trying to prototype something and working with something. Remember, if you try using the Google API for the Google map, that comes at a cost. So maybe for a very small project, for proof of concept, you may want to use Folium because it actually gives you close to what's on the ground, but definitely cannot compare to Google map. So now let's go into the University of Ghana. I'm actually zooming into the University of Ghana, and you can see that we are going to definitely see some of the major landmarks we have on the university. So let's just wait. I think it is loading, so it's a little bit blurred. And I think for all the packages I've shown, this is the one you actually need internet to make it work. So as you can see, this is like the main road. This is like Legon First. You see that there's a police station over here, and this is a University of Ghana hospital, and I can see this is a GCB bank. So it's very close to I think what pertains on the ground. And as you can see, this is a distance education center, like that runabout over here, and this is the Department of African Studies. And as you can see, this is a JQB block where we have our Friday classes, and you can see that there's a car park over here, and also there's a car park in here. And now let's go to engineering, because that's where we find ourselves most of the time. So in here, when I come in here, you can see that we have the School of Engineering. I think the ship, I mean, in terms of the plan, is I mean, exactly what we have it over here. And you can see that there's a car park to our left or to our right, depending on where you are standing and facing. We have the ISE, the new building over there, and you can see that we have the ECG, the main road, and we have pens showing up over here. And as you can see, behind us is this I mean, forest or whatever you see over there. And you can actually check this for your, maybe your residence or your halls or stuff like that. So this is very close to we having what pertains on the ground. So this is a map, and you can simply use Folium to check some of these things. All right, so this is one of the popular libraries I just wanted to show. Now let's come back here, and you could see that everything we have over here is very simple. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, and you just have to use these libraries to accomplish whichever task you want to proceed on. So currently you can go through this, and there'll be enough information in terms of its documentation. But also I have some videos over here where I extensively go into these libraries, and this, I believe, will be a very good project. Maybe during the vacation you can check out on some of these projects, and I think you'll be good to go. So yeah, this is one of them, and I think the first one I'll recommend is this particular one, where we are trying to check out the location. So these two, if you want to go extensively or in depth with Folium, trying to integrate this with a web application, I believe these two will do you a lot of good. So I'll leave the links to these videos in the video description, so you can also check this one out. And let's see the other libraries. So we have this one, which is PyTTSX3. So now let me just check this library over here. So let me look for PyTTXS3. So this is basically a library we are going to use later on. So this is Python text to speech. So this will basically convert any text into speech, and I don't know, it's not showing up. Let me see, what do I have here? SX, okay, sorry. So it is SX, so Python text to speech. All right, so this is it, and it says text to speech. So there's a library, and it actually works for Python version 2 and Python version 3, so without internet connection or delay. So you don't even need internet. Once you download and install this, you don't need internet for this to work, and we can simply do this. So now let me just copy this and try and run this over here. And I don't think I have this either, so I'll do a pip install Python text to speech 3, as I have copied over here, and I'll just wait. So this will actually install, and it says successfully installed. Okay, so now that we have this, I can simply do, okay, I've commented everything out over here, so I can do import, and I can say Python text to speech 3. I've imported this library over here, and now I can instantiate a variable, and I'm going to call this speaker. So this is going to be the object I'm going to create out of the Python text to speech over here. Then I can now do an init over here. So this init is more or less going to instantiate it. All right, then I'll bring a parenthesis over here. Then now I can simply do speaker.say. Then what do I want to say in here? Let's say I love Python programming. So what I can do to make this work is I can simply do speaker dot run and wait. And please bear in mind the capitalization we have over here. So now when I save this and now run this,
I love Python programming.
Whatever thing you typed in here is going to be spoken out. Okay, so it is converting this text to speech. And I can include this, so I can see or better still, I can say the class was interesting. So I'll save this and I'll run this.
I love Python programming. The class was interesting.
All right, so you could see that at least we are doing this, and clearly I'm not performing any magic over here. Once again, the trick is to read documentation. So once you have it, okay, everything I did over here was just to import, as you see over here, and this is the example. And over here I just used the variable speaker. Now they are using engine over here, so they are instantiating this, as you can see over here, creating an object, and we can say engine, which is the speaker.c. There's a method in there, c, and whatever thing you type in here will be converted into a speech. And then you can say engine, which in my case I'm saying speaker.run and wait, and you call this and it's just going to run and wait. So that's going to be that. And you could see that I have over here that on line 33 I say build an audiobook in Python. So for the purpose of that, that's why I have this book.pdf over here. But don't worry, there's a video that's going to guide you, which I've already published onto my YouTube channel a couple of months ago. So when you come into my channel, you'll see this particular video where I say build audiobook in Python. So I'll also leave this link in the description, and this is a very short video, so you just go through it and everything is going to look good. I mean, as far as you working with Python is concerned. All right, so this I expect you to do, and I'll be checking in class. So that's with the Python text to speech, and there's this PySimple GUI which we'll be using, but then we cannot cover it here because this video is getting long. And then of course we also have NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib and stuff like that. So you can see that every library has its own unique feature it comes along with, and it solves a particular problem. So for instance, the QR code is only working for us when we want to generate QR code. If you want to convert text to speech, you don't use the QR code. We just have to use the Python text to speech. And of course, you don't need all these libraries in one application. You probably need maybe one or two, or maybe none, depending on whatever thing you are trying to do. But then I have a lot of videos on Django and also on Flask. So these are basically web libraries. For instance, Flask is a Python web library and Django is a framework. A framework is basically what I would say a bigger library. So it has a lot of stuff in here than this Flask library. And once again, I have videos over here, especially with Django. So with Flask, I have this video, and I'll leave once again this in the description. And if time permits, maybe I would want to start building this application with you in class. But then for Django, that's majority of what I cover over here. So there are lots of Django videos, and if you click on my playlist, you are definitely going to see quite a number of them. And this I highly recommend for anybody who is trying to learn web development with Python and Django. And then with NumPy and Pandas, these are data science libraries, and I also have videos of them over here. So I'll highly recommend, once again, when you get into my playlist and go on to, I have a playlist I've named data science. So this particular one, I think there are about 6 videos over here. So when you go into this playlist, you have quite a number of videos over here, and I'm going to show you the ones with Pandas and then also with NumPy. So as you can see, so this one is with NumPy, so it comes in part 1 and then in part 2. Then I also have one with Pandas. This is part 1 and part 2. So kindly watch these videos. These are highly recommended. It is not anything difficult. I'll try as much as I can to briefly touch on them in class, but then spend time to actually exhaust some of the things over here, because it is definitely going to help you. So matplotlib is a library we use for plotting graphs or trying to get some visualization from data, and I'm also going to record a video on that very soon. So this is going to be a very quick introduction to libraries, and of course let me come back to come and say that these are not the only libraries you're ever going to meet. Okay, there are quite a number of them, and as I showed you, there are over 4 million releases, and it keeps going. I mean, it keeps counting. So chances are whatever thing you are trying to implement, maybe there's a library, you just have to come in here, make an educated guess and search for it, and you are probably going to be sorted out with a particular library. So this is going to be the end of this video. Now, if you find value in the content I'm putting out over here, kindly support my work by subscribing to the Cambro channel. Also, don't forget to hit on the notification button so that anytime I release a video, you'll be duly notified. Share this video with friends and family who find this content very useful. At Cambro, we say learn programming. You can do it. Bye bye, and catch you in the next video.